Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday to you out there, August 29th, 2025, on the cusp of a 3-day weekend. Summer is over after this weekend, so you better enjoy it. We got a lot to get into, though, for all of those on your rush hour ride home. We are going to be talking about, I don't even have my lower third set up. We got it all. All-American Rejects, electric cars, more on Blake Lively. Megyn Kelly continues to burn calories doing a victory lap around Blake. Blake says, I never sued you. She says, you sued my company, you son of a gun. So we'll get into that. And then more discussion about the amount of government spending that is going to the National Guard, which I guess is just picking up trash in Washington, D.C. The $400 million investment into Alligator Alcatraz is now being closed. So we'll get into these stories. Lots to talk about. All that and more starts right now on The Rush. And you guys are going to want to stick around for the Blake Lively tea. I know we've been dribbling it out all literally for the last 6 months, but the longer this pre-trial goes on, the more the back and forth, the more you get to see sort of the game plans behind who's smearing who and whatnot. So we'll get into that. But here is the star. Really should get rock star group of the year, All-American Rejects, with their underground marketing that they've done, giving away concerts directly to their audience. I mean, this is PR. This is how it's done. For anyone who's out there and wants to know like how to grow your channel, you have to give. Find a way to give something to your audience. Don't try to take. You will receive the more creativity you give. That's just the laws of the universe. But either way, here's what he says about not recording with a record label. Hit the unmute button there.
Not working through a major record label this time.
Really?
I feel like you've been kind of dancing around it a bit here. Yeah, tell
why.
us.
So the question is, why aren't you working with a major record label?
You tell us
here's the
please.
deal. It started in 1950 when people were given booze and $5 bills to get their songs taken away from them and let the big ivory towers pave their golden steps on the backs of artists. This is a tale as old as time.
Wow.
Patrons of the art had more money. Artists were starving and were easily compromisable. And fast forward 300 years to the early 2000s when I signed my first record deal, there was enough money for me to say, it doesn't matter. You want to be. It wasn't even about the money at that point. The lore of a major label record was you made it.
And that's what the brick wall is, right? The brick wall isn't meant to keep you out. It's meant to show you how bad you want something. You get over that brick wall, you get signed by a label, you become the hot tamale of the world, and money comes in. But whatever money you think you're making, the bosses are making more. They absolutely are. This is why I'm a proud member of the Screen Actors Guild. Because if you're not in SAG-AFTRA, you're treated terribly. I mean, terribly. Exploited. Working long hours. Why? Because someone else will want to do the job if you don't do it. So it's all about workers' rights. And the music industry essentially has none. You're kind of paid money, but they hold on to the masters, right? The records. And whenever any musician gets the chance, they pull away from that and realize they've been duped and scammed.
Yeah.
So the trap was already, it wasn't even a trap. It was like I don't know. It's like a fairy tale of, the poisoned apple, except the poison doesn't hit you until you're 3 records in and somebody.
So you felt like you made it and then.
Of course. And for a second everything was great. It's like utopia, dystopia, right? The moment that it starts, it's great. They did put us out into the world. Times were different. You had MTV and radio. Mm-hmm. They got us there. They were the gatekeepers to this. There was only one way. But it's 2025 now. And if you're an independent artist, guess what you do? You have your own audience.
Oh, I didn't know I needed to hear this today. And this is why, and again, I'm not trying to sell you on this, but I've had so many people ask me about my career, my business setup. I actually did a quick little view of my studio on Instagram today, and I'm taking questions from folks. I'm going to be posting a live stream to, I think I'm going to do it weekly or bi-weekly to YouTube Premium, where people can ask me any questions about content creating. Whether you're a musician, singer, pianist, gardener, it literally doesn't matter what you are. You can use social media to make your dreams a reality and make 100 times more than you're making now. I went from driving Uber broke as hell to, buying a home with my YouTube. And I tell people this not to brag, but to let you know that there is a platform that is right there that you can utilize to pave a way to your audience. And All American Rejects knows this. They know that they no longer need the record label to make the phone calls to get them airtime on the local radio stations. That time is over. Now, they're still holding on to people with predatory contracts, but you don't need anybody. And that's the limitation that we put inside of our brain. You don't need anybody to tell you what you want to do with your life and what you want to become. It has never been a better time to be alive, to use the phone, use whatever resources you have to build that platform. And you can do it in ways that are unimaginable, ways that haven't been done before, that are super unique to, there are bodybuilders that are, influencers, whatever the case may be. Find that thing that you have passion for, that thing that you love, and find a way to share it. And when you're sharing your passion, that's where true abundance, that's where your higher frequencies come from, because you're alive, you're glowing. Be that version of yourself. You owe it to you. You owe it to your family, your wife, your children, your kids, your mom. You owe it to be the best version of yourself. And the best way to do that is to build equity. And you get that by, in the All American Rejects case, building an email list. That's all they did. That's all they did on this tour. They said, sign up here and we'll let you know when we're in our town. And now they're playing some farm in Des Moines and everyone's like, why are you in Des Moines? Well, they probably just got several 100,000 emails that will help when they sell merch and do future shows. They're building that equity. They're controlling their audience by having their own highway to the message. Unbelievable stuff. So again, if you have any questions for me on how you can get started, everything from I'll audit your YouTube channel or social media. I'll tell you, I don't really understand what your brand is. What's going on here? I'll just give you my thoughts on that, and you can sign up on YouTube memberships, and I'll be posting more of that, but you can ask questions specifically through my Instagram. Okay, so let's move on from that to, speaking of helping folks out, this was just a member of our community I wanted to share. It is a meal support for Jess, Angelo, and the girls while he recovers. Massachusetts, come on, help us out, New England. So the story is a guy was hit by a truck while he was pumping his gas, and he's got a 3-year-old baby and a newborn girl at home. And all they're asking for is just some help, just a couple meals. There's this website, giveandkind.com, and you could literally just sponsor a meal. You can just help directly. So a lot of people don't like to donate to certain places because they don't know where their donation's going. I'm letting you know. It's going to Angelo and his family as he recovers. So that's a member of our community, and we wish them a speedy recovery. Link in the comment section, link in the description if you want to help donate. I'd love to wipe this out. Let's just wipe this out. Don't wait for someone else to help. Just, be the change, folks. All right, Slate CEO Chris Barman, they are producing a $25,000 electric vehicle. I don't even think it's got a radio, so you can't even listen to my podcast in it, but have a listen.
In a very different way. Many other companies tried to come in at the high end. We really want to solve the problem of the affordable vehicle. So we started at looking at what can we do to make it a very efficient package. So we've taken everything out that's not a car.
Including the radio.
We've taken out the radio.
No style. These cars are so bare bones. I love it. I kind of want one. They're kind of cute.
You also have manual windows, so we don't have that into the cost.
Manual windows. That's something that most people don't remember. Do you remember the hardest part with a manual window wasn't the driver's side window? It's when you had to reach across and get the other. That was, if you're hey, roll the window down. Bro, I'm going to rip my shoulder out of its socket trying to get to it. You're like driving with one hand trying to, those were the days. Okay, anyhow, so if you want manual windows, but this would be a good car to get your kids so they kind of learn to grow up with a little bit of appreciation.
To the vehicle. But we've designed the car such that it can be added in later. So we do have an app so that if you want your streaming audio, you want your navigation, that's how you can bring it into the vehicle. And it's tech that you already know and love. But
all right, so there it is. They have an app. So, hey, maybe this is the future. Get some of these vehicles, plug and play. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to be, buying much at a yard sale in one of these things. No storage space. But hey, want to zip around town? There it is, $25K. All right, we're gonna dive into the Blake Lively stuff. The next story is very interesting. Blake Lively apparently subpoenaed a private intelligence company, and Brian Friedman's side was like, "You can't do this. We'll have this, and then more Megyn Kelly dunking on Blake, this coming next. Couple updates in Blake Lively versus Baldoni. This morning we shared that Perez Hilton won a big motion. He rejected basically the subpoena. Blake was looking to get into him. We'll have Megyn Kelly discussing the subpoena she also was able to dodge. But first, here we have Not Actually Golden sharing that Blake Lively tried to get a subpoena of a private investigator, a PI.
She is trying to get records from the private investigative firm that Friedman uses. It's called Sourced Intelligence. She sent them a subpoena and they were like, no, privilege. I have too much mucus in my head. I'm going to tag all my smart girls down here at the bottom, and one of you ladies figure this out because I don't have the mental energy to do it, but it looks like they're going after the private investigators for the law firm.
Yeah, don't they call them private for a reason? Now, if you're Blake Lively, I guess you want to know, hey, if you found dirt, we want to know what it is because we need to share, discoverables. But I don't think it works that way, right? If Brian Friedman hired private investigators to, I don't know, look into, flipping, kicking the tire on Blake Lively, is Blake Lively entitled to that information? I honestly don't know. I think she would only be entitled to that information if they ended up using it in their court case, because you have to share whatever evidence you have. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. But more importantly, let's go to Megyn Kelly torching Blake Lively, and I'm just going to share the first couple minutes of this clip here. But she's talking to some lawyers here, and she's of course represented by Brian Friedman, and she's just not having it. The idea that she needs to be paid by Justin Baldoni is laughable. I mean, she's worth way more money than Baldoni.
First of all, I don't need money from Justin Baldoni. Okay, let's just be clear. I don't need his money. I don't think he has it to spare, and I don't need his money. And it's an insult to me. It's an insult to Baldoni. It's an insult to Brian Friedman. It's an insult to Candace. It's an insult to Perez Hilton. Like all these people. I don't know Perez in his, situation, but I firmly believe Candace would never take money from somebody to do her reporting. I would never take money from somebody to do my reporting. And this is her trying to smear, to use her word, the reporters who are out there who aren't in love with her.
Now, as a side note, full disclosure, I was given the opportunity from my podcast ad salespeople to take Mint Mobile as a sponsor. And I'm just letting my audience know right now. You guys know my opinion on this case. I personally believe Blake Lively, made up these allegations because we haven't seen any evidence, and I believe Justin Baldoni was, operating by the book since she tried to hold the movie hostage and all of that. With that said, your boy will be opening up his pocket. I will be taking Mint Mobile's money if that deal comes through. I just want you guys to know I will be promoting Mint Mobile like it is my favorite cell phone brand. I'm telling you right now. A lot of times, only about 10% of the opportunities that go through, so we might not have them as a sponsor. As far as we have right now, it's Tropical Smoothie Cafe, which is my favorite smoothie. It is the best smoothie out there. But if I don't care. I mean, I have some ethics. I have turned down some deals. You'd be shocked at some of the deals that some of these content creators take, where I'm like, I'm not promoting, MAGA coffee or whatever the hell. You know what I mean? I don't need my coffee to be political. It, it gives me anxiety and it makes me shit my pants. Maybe. Okay. Anyhow, so I'm just letting you know right now. If I wear a Mint Mobile baseball hat, you're gonna know Daddy's getting paid.
Yeah, look, in my opinion, let's be very clear. I'm stating my opinion here. This entire litigation train is probably being driven almost exclusively by the attorneys who have a financial interest in the longevity and complexity of this litigation. It's almost like a class action case where the only people that benefit are the lawyers. And so, look, Baldoni is probably being bled dry by the litigation costs. And, she's the one that launched this whole thing with a, in my opinion, specious claim of sexual harassment against him. And now to see that she's extending this out, and she's going after public figures like you and others who have, like you said, come to their own conclusions about what they want to think about her. it just confirms my suspicions. And look, I'm like you. I have very low opinion of her. I have never really known much about her until this litigation started, but it didn't take me long to reach my own conclusions. And wasn't influenced by Baldoni. I'm influenced by her and how she's behaving in this case. It has nothing to do with him. And honestly, if there's anybody that I care less about than Blake Lively, it might be her husband, Ryan Reynolds. These people have zero impact on my day-to-day life. I don't even think about them unless or until somebody's talking about this litigation in the media. And so it just has this unseemly air about the whole thing. And quite frankly, I'm ready for this litigation to be done with, but apparently it's going to be dragged out as long as it possibly can.
So basically saying the only winners here are the lawyers, right, for dragging this out. And maybe Blake Lively's lawyers are a little bit guilty of that, subpoenaing everybody under the sun, except for me. I fell through the cracks. That or they send it to an email I don't check. I'm very bad at checking my email. So it just could be that I just haven't noticed the subpoena. But either way, if you want to crack into my bank account, it's just going to be things that my wife bought at Home Goods. That's literally all it's going to be is Home Goods. So have at it, boys. All right, well, coming up next, coming up next, we're going to talk alligator Alcatraz. If you're watching on YouTube, that'll be the next video. We're separating the political stuff from the pop culture because you're a bunch. No, okay. So if you don't want that, you won't get it. But first, I wanted to end our pop culture with just this moment of humanity. This was a date night, they say, like a Hallmark movie moment. And it was just a reminder, that everyone's got different struggles in life, and we're not defined by our struggles. We actually can overcome them. And in this moment, you've got this guy Michael here. It's just a sweet moment. For those listening on audio, I have to narrate this. But 6 years before meeting his girlfriend, he was paralyzed in an accident, and in this moment, he actually gets himself out of his chair just so he can get down on a knee and propose to her. Does it at a very unassuming place. So from a Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce engagement proposal heard around the world to the lesser known ones that are just as meaningful for the couples. Love can be found anywhere, folks. And just like your content creation will be as good as whatever you can give others, I feel like love is the same way. Love is as good as you're willing to give it because it comes right back at you. So congrats to this couple. We appreciate them. And coming up next, a little bit of a heavier topic, we'll share the shuddering of alligator Alcatraz. That story next.